collectors, welcome back to the Hive. I have got a real exciting one for you today. It has been a long time coming, a project I've had in the works for a while, or at least one that I've been really wanting to do. We are going to be running an experiment where we are going to be grading the graders. I feel like this is especially relevant now, especially since the PSA shutdown kind of threw a wrench in a lot of people's plans. And many of you may be asking yourself, where else can I go? Well, hopefully here on this new series, we can help answer that. So without further ado, let's get into it. So what is it we're going to be doing here? Well, we're going to be taking a snapshot in a moment in time, in this case, June 16th, 2026. And we are going to send cards out to every single grading company that's going to be part of this series. And there'll be obviously the one obvious caveat to that. Now each company is going to get 4 cards. There'll be one vintage, which I've selected some from the 1994 Upper Deck World Cup collection that I have. One modern card that's going to be from the last year. One insert where the centering on it is not immediately apparent when looking at it. You have to do a little more investigation. And also one thick card that is 100 points thickness or more. And when we get these cards back, we're going to do a video on, well, basically one video on every single company that will be graded on the 4 subgrades. More on that here in a minute. So what grading companies are we submitting to? Well, I broke these down into 2 separate groups. First is going to be the traditional human-based. That's where you have human beings that are going to be giving their opinion on their grades. Starting with the Collector's Universe Triad, and that is PSA, SGC, and Beckett. Then, of course, we're going to do the second largest grading company of CGC. Now, I don't know how much Arena Club is really focused on grading anymore, but we're going to be submitting to them because they still offer it as a service, and it is still something that they do. And that'll at least cover all our bases on the human-based grading. Now, you may be wondering why you're not seeing other companies like GMA or KSA or stuff like that. Well, I made the decision that we are not doing anything that you have to send in bulk. Those companies, you have to do bulk submissions where it's like 30 cards or more. We're just going to be focusing on ones where if I wanted to really send in a card for grading, like a single card, I can do that with all these companies. And now on to Group 2. This is your AI machine learning or hybrid type model, where you're going to be using AI and people at the same time. The 2 big ones in this category are TAG and AGS. And fun fact, I didn't know this until I started researching this project. In the first half of 2026, they're pretty much neck and neck. TAG has had 284,000 cards graded, and AGS is right behind them with 267,000. Then, of course, there is HGA, which as of recording are still not open to take any submissions under their new management. They've said for quite a while now that they're going to be opening up in 2026 again. I don't know if that's actually going to happen, but for their case here, we are starting the clock on them. Just in case they do open up, we'll definitely do a submission to them, but for the time being, you're probably not holding your breath here that they're going to be coming out at all. Now, what about autograph authentication? Well, we are going to do those too. PSA DNA, Beckett's authentication, and CGC's JSA authentication program. This is going to be a lot of fun. The slabs look a little bit different, so we wanted to make sure we included those as well. So how is this going to work? Well, we are submitting all of the cards at the same time on June 16th, 2026. Now, there are a couple of exceptions here that I had to include. To get the full PSA experience, I wanted to do it in 2 different ways. The PSA via their direct submission and their submission via a group submitter. So I ended up choosing GameStop to do this, but when I set the date for this entire thing, This was before the PSA value shutdown, so I had to kind of scramble a little bit to get the cards into GameStop. So those were actually submitted on May 30th, but I got my submission paperwork into the direct submission system on May 30th, but I didn't actually mail them in until June 16th. So those will still be in line with everything else. Another exception is going to be tag. Now, I'm giving PSA a little bit of grace here because they don't normally shut down, but tag is got a long history of starts and stops where they open up submissions, then close them, open them up, and then close them. So at this point, I kind of consider tag to, or at least the waiting game on tag, to be normal. So we are actually starting the clock on them as of June 16th, but obviously I don't have any cards submitted because they are still closed on their lower tiers. As soon as those open up, I'm going to submit the cards then, but as of that moment, the clock is ticking on their price to time weighted ratio. Now, every single one of these companies we're submitting on the lowest tier, whatever that may be called, whether it be value or basic or what have you. That is their non-bulk. So I'm not doing this as a bulk submission type deal. This is if you're just sending in a couple of cards, what can you reasonably expect? Now we're going to be tracking all this data on a Google Sheets. I'm going to end up putting the link down in the description below. That you can actually click on to show exactly what we had submitted to each one of these companies, as well as where they are at in the system. So when you see something populate on there, pretty much rest assured within a week or two I should be coming out with the video where we do the actual grading portion of it. Now on the autograph side of things, where we have our in-person autos, they are going to be submitted with authentication only unless the company doesn't basically let you do that. You know, a few of them, they want to at least grade something, but if that's the case, then I will have them grade the autograph. Now they are submitted in a separate order, but they are not submitted separate box. So I put the order with the paperwork and everything in the same box as everything else, but I didn't want the autograph authentication portion to bog down the rest of it. So that gives all these companies the fairest shake I can give them. So I anticipate I'll be receiving every one of these separately in a separate mailing. So how are we grading them? Well, each company is going to be graded on 4 different subgrades. The first of which will be the submission process. So we'll be evaluating kind of their website, the ease of the submission, and the clarity on what it is that we're actually getting when we do send a submission in. And lastly, in subgrade 1, the grading criteria itself. So some companies grade a little bit tougher than others, and we wanted to make sure that we mention that and put that as part of our empirical grade. Some people like a looser grading criteria, others like it to be a little bit tougher. I know I'm a little bit more on the tougher side of things, but either way, we are actually going to just explain it on every one of these videos real quick, just to let you decide. The second subgrade is going to be the wait time to price ratio. Now, each one of these companies has an advertised wait time, but we are not going to be grading the advertised wait time. It's actually going to be the real physical results. When do they get it? When do they check it in? And when do they get it back to us? Subgrade number 3, we're going to be going over the slabs themselves. Firstly, being the aesthetics, that's going to be much more opinion based on my part. You're going to like whatever you like. I'm going to like whatever I like. But I would be remiss if I didn't at least give my opinion on to the aesthetics and the function of each one of these slabs. We are also going to be testing some of the durability. I'm going to be doing a scratch test as well as a drop test and stuff like that to see if the cards hold up inside. Do they move around or come out of their moorings inside each one of these slabs? So we're going to test those out. And finally, the counterfeit protection. Is there enough protection in there to determine whether or not somebody can easily create a counterfeit slab? Finally, subgrade number 4. This is going to be more the customer experience. Do you come out of this company with a warm and fuzzy, or is it a absolute nightmare where you don't know what's going on? We're going to be testing those out. So we're going to be also mentioning whether or not that upcharges are possible. Some companies do upcharges, others don't. We're going to make sure we put that as part of our grade. And then also, after you get the card itself, is it easy for you to be able to look up the certification on it? So if you are a buyer in the secondary market, I want to be able to look up the certification to make sure that this thing is legit. And then finally, what is the company policies on, say, if they lose a card or if they end up damaging a card? We're going to be putting that as part of the final subgrade. Now, of course, I also want to mention that this experiment is not about the accuracy of grading, so we are not going to be looking at the actual grades themselves and then say to ourselves, like, well, how did you get that grade? We're not doing that here. What we are trying to find out is whether or not the grades are actually coming back with the kind of the holistic experience for the customer and what the aesthetics of a slab is going to be when it's all said and done. So that's how it's going to work. Every single one of these videos are going to trickle out as the submissions come in. So if you want to make sure you are notified the moment the video drops, give this video a like and make sure you subscribe and hit that bell notification. So that way YouTube makes sure that you get the information you need the moment I release it. Again, very excited about this series. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you on the first grading return. This is Bear with Honey Bear Cards. Keep on collecting those cards and bring them on back to your hive. Peace.